WKU PBS is celebrating its 30th anniversary, and we're celebrating with a look back at what was and a sneak peek at what it takes to run a television station. Along the way, we hope you enjoy some nostalgia and some truly great local programming. But first, let's take a walk down memory lane with Dr. Charles Anderson, one of the founding forces of WKYU TV.
I was in a meeting in the president's office in Weatherby, and we were there to talk about building a radio station. And we were talking to President Kelly Thompson. Well, he wasn't terribly interested in building a radio station, but he said, you know, what Western really needs is a television station. That registered with me. And I'll say again what I said on the day we signed WKYU TV on the air. It was Kelly Thompson's idea.
This is WKYU TV, Channel 24, Bowling Green, Kentucky, the public television service of Western Kentucky University. Hello, I'm Dr. Tom Meredith, President of Western Kentucky University, welcoming you to the first day of programming of WKYU TV.
And I'm Barbara Deeb, and as Dr. Meredith informed you, this is the official sign-on, the very first day of programming here at WKYU TV. So our in-studio guests, Dr. Meredith, and all the behind-the-scenes people, and you, the viewer at home, you are being a part of history in the making, and that's rather exciting.
I came to Western Kentucky University in 1967, had finished almost finished a master's degree at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. That's an important distinction to us. And came here in a faculty position with some producer-director responsibilities. We had a brand new studio, not terribly well equipped, but it was functional, and a lot of enthusiastic students. And so I came to do that for a couple of years while I finished my thesis. And I retired from here 32 years later. Well, it was fun. That's why we did it. That's why everybody's in broadcasting. It's a fun thing to do. It's rewarding. It's challenging in a university situation to do a lot of things, especially expensive things, technology related things. But we had good support. The institution, the presidents from President Thompson, President Zacharias, and others through the years supported what we were doing. And as we developed these facilities, radio was the first, we had a tremendous response from the faculty and the community, so it was fun.
Change is a constant in television, and it's the foundation of what we do here. There are always changes in technology, but also in our ambitions as storytellers. Each of our producers has a passion for what they do, and it shows in the programs that they produce.
Honestly, I think one of my favorite projects I've done here is the Top Crops documentary. It was really powerful to be out there with Carol and Bill and all the gardeners there and get to know them. And you know, there's some of the funniest people and some of the most engaging people I've talked to. And what's really great is the documentary aired not too long ago. And Carol texted me and said that she knew the documentary aired because people were texting her like, oh, hey, I saw the documentary, you know, I love what you guys are doing. So it's just great to know that all the work that went into that is really making an impact, and that it's raising awareness for their organization and hopefully helping them make more of a difference.
When you talk about one of the more meaningful programs that we've done or that we've been a part of, that was when we took our student crew, our professional crew, into the Warren County Juvenile Detention Center, and we spent a week training some of the residents there on how to use the equipment and run cameras. And then for the finale, we broadcast 3 shows from inside the detention center with these residents running camera and doing the production. And when that was done, to hear those young people say, thank you, I really learned something. I mean, that's huge.
I got to spend time with the Juvenile Justice Center, you know, documenting what they do there and working with some of the residents there and teaching them skills. You know, I've had opportunities to do documentaries that serves the state and the community, that has aired nationally, that had personal connection with myself in my own personal life about adoption, because my own daughter's adopted. It's all, I really like coming to work because it is literally different day to day. A couple of days I'm editing, a couple of days I'm shooting, a couple of days I'm producing. You know, we have projects in the works that I would really love to talk about that I know I can't because we're not quite far enough with them, but there's exciting things on the horizon. That's the thing, every day there are exciting things on the horizon that we get to work on. And so to pick just one would almost diminish everything else, and I can't do that.
Lost River Sessions program started in 2014. You know, at the time, we didn't have any music programs on a regular basis here at WKU PBS. And even when we went to go shoot that first episode, we had no idea it would be a series. But we went out, absolutely fell for the band, had this great experience of doing this project. And again, like, I honestly thought, well, this will just be maybe an online only thing. The worst that can happen is we shoot it and edit it, and they just tell us, well, we can't run it, but you could still put it online. That was sufficient for me. Not long after that, we did that. We were able to show it to David Brinkley, the station manager, and the first question he had is, can you do more of these? It's like, yep, let's do it. And that show, from that point on, we just kind of took off and never looked back. But I think there's something, it's a testament to the culture here at WKU PBS that we could go out and experiment on projects, that we can sit there and have ideas and take some students, or the students have ideas and take some of the professional staff and go out and do things. And television can go in all different directions, but for me, I always knew that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to work directly with people, and I wanted it to have a positive impact on the community. We've been able to branch, at least with Lost River Sessions, into a couple different angles where we'll do the television show, we'll do live concerts and community outreach programs, and that to me is what I want to do for the rest of my life, and WKU PBS has given me that chance.
I think one of my fondest memories of working here was spending 16 months in Mammoth Cave National Park, getting to know not only nature, but the people I work with and the people who are part of the park. We did a documentary on Mammoth Cave called Mammoth Cave, A Way to Wonder, and we took people on a tour of not only the inside of the cave, but the inside of the park, and let people experience the cave firsthand as they'd never seen it before. I think a large part of our mission as a PBS station is not only to entertain, but to inform and have people really understand the world that they live in. It's wonderful that we live in such a beautiful state that has such a beautiful environment, and we can let people not only learn about the places and the history, but also about the animals who live there and the culture that used to be there and the things that are going on in our state that a lot of people don't know about. And that information is something that not only is good for today, it's also good for tomorrow.
That was just a small part of what we do here at WKU PBS. One of the core missions behind WKYU is education. Being housed on the campus of Western Kentucky University makes that possible on several levels.
Well, behind the scenes, we are part of Western Kentucky University, and some people realize that we are on campus, and some people don't realize that we're on campus. It just depends on what part of the community they're viewing from. So that's probably one of the cool things, to get to explain that to someone that may not know.
Western Kentucky University is the perfect atmosphere for this station to exist. We draw our employment resources directly from the student population on this campus. I want you to think about how great that is, that there is one of the top 5 programs in the country housed next door to this building. We recruit employees from that program. We pay them to offset their costs, and we give them the applied research experience that they need, so when they graduate, they're ahead of their peers.
The vast majority of our crew, all of our crew, are college students. And they're not doing this for a grade, they're not getting credit. This is a job. So we provide that very unique aspect when you graduate and you go for a job and you say, well, this is an entry-level position, but we want 3 to 4 years of real-world experience. And most other candidates kind of their brains break because they don't say that's possible. We make that possible.
I enjoy our students simply because they're so smart and they're so curious and intelligent and great storytellers. It amazes me when I see one of our students, even as they're here as a student producing documentaries. I'm in awe of that because they're so far ahead of their peers. It's gratifying and really just a very cool part of what we do.
You know, to be mentored was great as a student. It was a powerful experience and one that I wouldn't trade for anything. That made me, when I finished school and went out into the workforce, I was prepared. I was going into situations that I'd already been in before. I knew what I was doing, and that was tough. You know, when I finished school, it was 2007. So within a year of that, you know, you had a lot of economic distress throughout the country. So suddenly I'm going out for jobs and I'm competing against people that have been doing this for years. So already having experience under my belt and knowing what to expect was huge for me. Coming back, being a mentor, it's been the most rewarding experience of my PBS life, to be able to work with people and then send them out. And sometimes, you know, if we're lucky, to be able to send them out and they've already achieved the highest achievements that they can in television. They're walking out of here with Emmy Awards, they're walking out of here with experiences that they wouldn't have been able to get just from going to class and going to school. That's huge.
The best thing about the station, though, and this has been the best thing since the very beginning, are the people that are involved there. They're good people. They work hard. There are no slackers here. I know this because I have been here long enough to say that. The students are engaged and prepared for their careers by the professionals that work in the industry. So when we look at any organizational model and you think about how things from the top down are structured and good things that happen, every layer from the top all the way to the bottom, and there's not really a bottom, really has examples of what to do and how students can incorporate what they learn in the classroom in theory to practice here. So this is the practical application model of what they're going to be doing for their careers. In some instances, it helps them understand that this isn't appropriate for them. In other instances, though, it is a launch pad for a long career service in this city, another city, their hometown, and it helps them become a more complete person and have a more complete life. So that, to me, the people here are the absolute best aspect. That's what makes this a station.
Anything worth doing is worth doing well, and everything that we undertake is a team effort. No one does it alone, and ROMP is no exception. For the last few years, WKU PBS has provided big screen coverage for the 16-year-old Bluegrass Music Festival in Owensboro, and we take home enough material from the 3 days of performances to create several ROMP specials featuring acts from the event. It takes everyone we have to produce this live event, and it's an experience our students and staff will never forget. Students serve in many capacities, from camera to directing and other facets of production. The effort it takes to make this happen is enormous, but so is the reward. This is just one of the ways that our students get real-world experience in live production.
It's been a really big challenge pioneering a new program. That's not something, especially for music, it's not something I thought I would ever be doing, but you know, I was asked to do it and I took it on, and it's been really enjoyable. I think ROMP happens because a lot of people make it happen. You know, David does a lot of the negotiations that make it come together. Jordan does a lot of the technical things to make it come together. And then I work with a whole bunch of students and producers during that weekend to get enough content to make a good program. So when it finally comes down to me in the edit room trying to put everything together, a lot of the work's been done for me, which is great. And then it's up to me to hone that and make it look really good and make a good product, all while again teaching people how to be better.
One of our secrets of success here is hiring some of the students that we've had the pleasure of training, but also in building lifetime relationships with our current and former students.
Working here as a student gave me an understanding for how complicated video production can be, And it also gave me an appreciation for how much complication I can deal with. It took a while, but after a few years of being on the crew here, it was really easy to understand what everybody meant by this was the place on campus to really excel. You'd be surprised at how many people who have met here as students are now married, or who invited each other to their wedding, or just hang out on the weekends. But it's a really tight group. A lot of key players that have been around for a while, and that helps. But even with all the changes from year to year, it's a group that sticks together.
I came down and I talked to James Pearson, who was the operations manager at the time. That kind of just started it. He gave me a tour. I met David Brinkley, I met you, I met all the other crew members, and the environment itself was absolutely amazing. And so I got to call my parents and say that while I wasn't getting paid right then and there, I was working at an actual TV station, learning the things that I wanted to do, which eventually turned into an actual paying job. And so that was something that worked out in spades for me, that I was actually able to get a job doing the very thing that I was studying. And it got to the point where this was the only job I ever wanted. Even to the point where I graduated, I always thought, oh man, wouldn't it be great if I could come back and work as a professional. And naturally, when that opportunity came, I jumped at it, and I haven't let go of this job since.
My early years here I was looking for a part-time job. I was a student at WKU, and I saw that this position was open as traffic in the traffic department. And so I came down to the station, applied, and our former program manager, Linda Odom, talked with me, interviewed me, and hired me. Never worked at a television station, of course, had really no experience at that, but I learned a lot. I've been here for a while now, and have been challenged all along the way, and have loved every minute of it.
One of the best things we have here is a student staff. They actually outnumber us. And it's so fun to see them come in, and they're kind of unsure of themselves, they're unsure of what they want to do, and when they get here, they start to find out where their talents are and what they want to do, and being part of that is a lot of fun. But we also build personal relationships with them, and it's really wonderful to keep those relationships going over long distance as it is, but to see them producing things for networks and to going into film and even into other parts of entertainment is really kind of cool to know that you knew these people when, and they're still the same person. They still have those same goals, those same types of things that they started with here, and they're really just wonderful people.
And so I knew what students could do if you challenged them, if you gave them the opportunity, first of all, and if you challenged them to be professionals. You didn't accept anything less than professional from them. You could get it. And that's the genesis of, I believe, what we experience today. And it's also extremely gratifying to me when I look at some of the video streams to see that indeed still students do most of the work. And I see national caliber production and programming. And I know that students are behind those cameras and students are editing that, and it's a student production. And when I see a basketball game from the state-of-the-art remote vehicle, which is light years from the first one we built in the 80s, it's ESPN quality.
30 years doesn't seem all that long in the scheme of things, but anyone in television will tell you that in TV time, it's forever, and we wouldn't be here without the support of our viewers.
They are very important to us because they provide us with the means to bring them this programming, and without them, we could not do this.
That is probably the most exciting part of working at PBS, because I do get to see so many of the wonderful people in our community that we are here to serve, and I love being able to hear about the wonderful things that they love about PBS. 30 years is remarkable, and it's 3 decades of being able to provide wonderful national PBS programming, astonishing locally produced programs that speak to the community and are about our community. So for 30 years, I know that it's a long time, and I think it's remarkable to have been around that long, but all I'm thinking about is the next 30 years and how much I want this to be a 60-year celebration.
You know, as a public television station, membership is important because obviously, you know, funding is an important thing, but also to know that people are invested, that people feel like they are a part of what we're doing here at the station is huge for us. It's essential. We're no different than any other PBS station, but when you know people take the time, whether it's through volunteering, whether it's through becoming a member, take the time to support what we're doing, that feels great. Because we don't live in a world where, or we don't live in a station where we're doing things for commercial reasons. To know that everything we do is heartfelt. It is dedicated to the community that we're in. So when the community then gives back, that's huge. That's incredible.
I think it's really remarkable that we exist nowadays, I think in ways people don't understand. You know, the media landscape has undergone such a huge transformation with stations being bought out and conglomerating, and really just with there being a few companies that control a lot of what goes out on the air. So for us to have survived 30 years as this smaller entity that really has this power to tell our local stories, and not have to subscribe to what one of the big employers like Disney or Comcast says, I think is a huge testament. And I think 30 years of that is very powerful.
I have been here all those 30 years. Well, we've grown tremendously, and I would like to think that we have, you know, we started with a mission to serve our community, and you know, I think we've continued that mission and enhanced that mission over the years. And so for that, I'm very proud.
The 30th anniversary is somewhat special to me because I helped sign the station on with, you know, I was part of a team that did that. So it's pretty important to me. I mean, to think about any business being successful for even 30 years is something to be proud of. It's an accomplishment, and I'm very hopeful that we will have many more years. But, you know, we have to figure out how to adapt and respond to the challenges that we face. But I think that if you really focus on your core mission, which is again serving your communities, serving the underserved, serving the people that don't normally have access to other sources of programming, you'll figure it out. You know, if it's important to you, you'll find a solution to provide that content to everyone.
We've been in the community for 30 years. We'll be in the community for a lot longer if we have anything to say about it. I think everyone here would have to be pulled from this place kicking and screaming, and they would have to force us to hit the black button on the switcher. I think as long as there's breath in our lungs, we're trying our darndest to make good content that connects to the community, and I think that's the benefit of being around for 30 years.
I can't tell you how proud I am of where this team, led by David Brinkley, is today in terms of television's quality, in terms of the caliber of the facility. It's the best it's ever been, and it's been pretty good over the years. The national distribution of programming, the kind of recognition that the programming is achieving nationally and distribution, it is at a pinnacle, and I'm extremely proud, and if I have some role in that, I'm very proud of that.